Good morning and happy Wednesday, folks. William Tramp, also known as This FNGM here, ready to talk to you about Encounter Party. Encounter Party episode 16 aired last night, February 20th, on the Dungeons & Dragons Adventures Network, which you can find on Freevee and Plex. And as per usual, I have a lot of things I want to say about it. I'm going to do a recap, and then I'm going to give my thoughts and feelings, and if you're not interested in any of that, well, that makes me kind of sad. But I do have another video you could watch. Also, you should know this video is going to be filled with spoilers about the episode, so maybe check out that video if you're not too interested in it. If you are interested in it, huzzah! We can spend time together! Okay, I'm getting a little bit too emotional about this, so hit it, Tommy!
What am I doing here?
Oh, you're playing Tommy? I'm doing my Tommy bit for the Encounter Party video.
Oh, I love that bit.
Yeah, me too, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
It's supposed to be a chicken, right?
No, the chicken, not exactly. The chicken's sort of like just different bit that I do during the Tommy bit.
Okay, I don't understand the Tommy bit then.
Okay, there's not really much to get. Just for right now, you need to be Tommy, and then just read the lines I gave you, and then we'll be good to go.
Oh yeah, I love that.
It kind of sounds like you're being sarcastic right now.
No, I think you have great ideas.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You want to do the Tommy bit now?
I don't understand the Tommy bit.
Okay, again, you don't need to understand the Tommy bit. I just need you to do the Tommy bit.
I know you love the Tommy bit, and it's a great idea, but I just don't get it.
Okay, awesome. You're not going to do the Tommy bit, are you?
No.
Great.
I love you.
I love you. Episode 16, Undercover Acolytes, begins with the group in the Futures hideout called the Foundry. New friend to the group, Coraline, leads them to the new member area. They do an icebreaker where the group shares information about themselves. We learn through this that the future does not have a pastry chef. Dridian gives a fake name, Viridian, as does Olivina, who calls herself Nadia. Then also gets deceptive, saying his name is Ned, and I wonder where he got that from. Real Ned doesn't seem to appreciate it, but I love it. After the group's abilities are assessed, some of the group try to hide their capabilities. Coraline tells them to rest up as tomorrow they have a big day. The next morning, the group finds out that they were locked in their new member room, but they generally say nothing about this. Reappearing at their door, Coraline informs them that they will be divided out by their abilities. Combat members, healing members, and Flick is gonna head to the stables. They also learn some of the hierarchy of the Foundry. Master Grunham leads the Foundry, whereas apprentice Dally runs the place, and combat is led by, dun dun dun, Vin's Uncle Thane. As they mull over this, Flick mentions that he specializes in the identification of items, and Coraline freaks out and abandons her plan for the stable and decides to get Flick in touch with Elgie. We start then with the combat infiltration with Tolo and Ven. Ven starts to prepare with meeting his uncle, disguising himself as a non-Longstrider. They go to weapons training, and it turns out everyone is wearing Longstrider armor. Ven continues his disguise by doing a Brian impression, and Tolo explains what got them there, the defacement, and then impresses Uncle Thane. They then begin to show off their combat prowess for Thane, but wait, hold on, is that the Rolling Stones playing in the background? No, sorry, had a little song mix up there. Anyway, the combat test goes by pretty quickly. The Longstriders are trained, and Tolo struggles a bit. Then takes care of his opponent handily, and Tolo eventually throws away his axe and just goes in with his claws. Thane calls it and steps in himself. He launches himself at Ven using Ven's father's halberd, and then he strikes at Tolo, who immediately goes down. The two are eventually taken to the infirmary. In the infirmary, Nadia and Viridian are there, where they see two healers at work, specifically healing the right eye of a number of patients. These two heal members for hours, and eventually Tolo and Ven are brought in, so Viridian heals them each for one. More people are brought in with damaged eyes. Tolo asks what happened with the eyes, but Coraline stays pretty dodgy about it. And as more and more groups come in, eventually the group starts to see that people who were already in are coming back in with the same damage. Meanwhile, Asher and Flick are brought into the alchemy room, where they see basically a mage study. Cheeto's leading them there. They are approached by Elgri, who is upset that they were even brought to the alchemy lab in the first place. She leads them out, gathers the others who have gotten a short rest, demands they all grab their things, and then takes them all outside. Elgri informs them that their test wasn't enough, and that they must prove themselves to her through a fetch quest in a village called Subar, and she hands out headbands of the future, being made aware that they will be tracked by these. We learn now that apparently there's a network of the future, and this particular facility is magic item dependent. So the group accepts. Olivina starts to speak to the horses to convince them to take them to Subar, and it turns out one of the horses' name is Ned. Horse Ned agrees to take the group to Subar. The group begins their trek to Subar and begin to mull over what they have learned. They muse that the future is all over and that they may be using the magic items that they've been collecting to make the monocles which allow them to see into the future. And they are using more powerful items to make more powerful monocles to see even further. Good theory. Soon enough, they reach Subar, a small village, and as the sunlight from the new morning washes over them, the episode ends. All right. So let's go ahead and talk now about what I liked about this episode, what I didn't like so much about this episode, and what I'm interested in seeing moving forward. Okay, what did I like about this episode? Well, Vin is getting a lot of unexpected character moments, but also sort of leaning into being extra cheeky, like with his Brian impression and naming himself Ned. I'm actually kind of here for this, and it's also awesome just to finally get an idea as to what has been going on with Uncle Thane, a villain I've been waiting to see since he was first mentioned. I love that despite his awesome barbarian just having the worst combat, Kari absolutely leans into the narrative and has Tolo throw away his main weapon, making him even worse in the situation, and Kari's just having a ball with this. I love that Andrew's idea of being deceptive is by changing Dridian's name to Viridian and effectively giving his character the name equivalent of a penciled-in mustache, which is just freaking hilarious. Alright, what did I not like about this episode? Well, I would have liked to see the Foundry train used a little bit more. It's okay that it wasn't. I just wanted to see it pop off. Yeah. I was also a little disappointed by Flick avoiding the stables, but then that sort of being a non-starter, because the alchemy room wasn't really used that much. It's like, hey, here's that awesome thing that you just mentioned about being able to identify. Let's explore that. Just kidding. Moving on. Yeah. All right. What do I want to see moving forward? Well, I want to see Vin get that weapon back for sure. That's a big deal. Father's ancestral weapon. Is it going to be magical? I would put money on it. I'm curious as to what they're going to find in Subar and what that's going to mean for the Foundry. You know, they need a second test. You know, I'm curious on when they're going to meet the leader of this faction of the future. And I'm super curious as to why the Foundry seems so small. Okay, so I was disappointed about the train. Let's talk about this for a second. In that train that we were shown, it's just one floor with a few rooms. Looking over it, I don't remember seeing any staircases or anything of the sort, so I've got to wonder, why is this complex, from all that we can see, just an infirmary, a combat training room, a small alchemy lab, and a giant new member area? I'm super curious to see more on that. Okay, and that's it. Those are my thoughts on episode 16 of Encounter Party. Episode 17 will air next week, February 27th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Dungeons & Dragons Adventure Network, the Dungeons & Dragons Adventures Network, which you can see on either Freevee or Plex. I enjoyed this episode. We're finally really getting into the future, right? We're getting into the future, and we're starting to see pieces come together that we've been hearing about for months now, and I'm here for it. If you are interested in hearing my thoughts about the next episode, you should tune back in next Wednesday, the day after the episode airs, and I'll share my thoughts with you. If you have any thoughts that you'd like to share, please do in the comments. I would love to hear them. Also, while you're looking at the comments, feel free to hit that like button. Feel free to hit that subscribe button. It just helps me out a bit. Otherwise, hey, thanks for showing up, hanging out with me to talk Encounter Party, and I'll catch you later. Bye!